And welcome back, everyone, to episode 79 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co host, Vince. And today is a big day. This month is a big month, and that's why we are back bringing you some regular content here on the podcast and some regular episodes. And today's regular episode is going to be quite a fun one because as we are recording, it is the round of 64 going on as we speak. So we're going to recap the games that we've seen so far, preview some of the games for tomorrow, but also WBC wrapped up in really a shocking ending. So we're going to need to talk about that as well. But yeah, Vince, first thoughts, we are currently watching the UNC VCU game. When this goes out, hopefully people will know what ended up happening. But how are you enjoying your March so far?
I'm greatly enjoying it. I don't know if you could say the same though. I know you wanted the USA to win badly, if not Italy, and guess who knocked out both those teams?
Venezuela.
So I don't know if you're having the best of March, but obviously yesterday was probably a redemption game for you in which New Jersey killed their, you could say, brother. I would say little brother now, the New York Rangers. So
Yeah, and actually another one of those matchups coming at the end of March. I think next Tuesday they play the exact same matchup. Or in 2 Tuesdays from now. So that's definitely going to be a fun game to go on there. But Vince, what were your immediate reactions to maybe seeing Venezuela come out with the win there? I don't know how much of the game you watched. I'll give my input in a moment, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
well, I watched the entire game. I know it sounds a little surprising due to the fact that baseball isn't really the sport I watch the most, at least compared to you.
Yeah.
But I think the WBC kind of made me want to start watching it a little more again. So no, I mean I watched the entire game and I thought Venezuela played amazing. And you could see from the get go, the pride and fire that Venezuela had coming into this. So I think it starts with the national anthem. So you see them singing their anthem with their hearts out compared to the USA, and the Americans aren't singing. They look clueless, not paying attention. They simply just have their cap over their hearts, and that's about it. So I think from the get go it starts there, and
Yeah.
then it goes into the game where the pitching from this Venezuela team was just amazing from the start to the finish. And talk about emotions, right? Like I just said, with screaming your heart out with your anthem, it comes with crying with the last pitch for your nation to win. That's what happened with Venezuela's closer, and just a beautiful moment from the Venezuelans being able to beat, in some terms, the Goliath, right? I mean, that's what you can call these Americans. So just true cinema from the Venezuelans. I mean, like I said, pride and fire is what really won this game for them.
100% agree with you. I mean, um, this whole what you're talking about starts with Tarek Skubal, and what this game meant to these two different teams. If Tarek Skubal was a member of any other country in the situation, you are no doubt not sitting on the bench and saying, "Oh, I can't play this game, but I can go with my team for spring training and stuff like that." But then still come to the game and sit on the bench and stuff. That's one of the worst things I have really ever seen in a situation like that, and especially for the WBC, which is just becoming more and more popular and means more and more to all these different countries. And knowing the history of what happened last time out with the loss to Japan, if you're Tarek Skubal, no, you need to be saying, "I'm going to pitch in this game for my country because I am the best my country has to offer." And like, yeah, that was the first, I think, nail in the coffin there. Second thing, then, because of Tarek Skubal not playing, you've Noel McLean, who has only played one season of Major League Baseball. Mark DeRosa said from the start that he would be the finals pitcher if they made it that far, and they did. And he didn't have a great game. It was like, okay, all things considered. He had 0 run support, which I'll get to in a moment. But you want Skubal out there all the way. And that's just unfortunate that you weren't able to have that. Next, hitting. I believe it was like 2 hits up to the 8th inning, which of course then the Bryce Harper hero moment home run came, which was really supposed to go down in history as one of the greatest home runs to ever happen in professional baseball. And then you move on from that immediately. You bring in Garrett Whitlock. He gives up a run in the top of the 9th, and then the U.S. gets shut down in the bottom. 0 run support. And I want to get your opinion on something. What do you think about the narrative of Aaron Judge not showing up in clutch situations? Because that's become a big topic of discussion again now with his performance in the final couple of games. I think it's completely unwarranted, the lengths that some people are going to, especially with what the production of basically everyone else on the team was like in that game. But just kind of what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm seeing comparisons to what Mike Trout was for this team just a tournament ago. So I'm not saying, listen, he can't be the hero for this USA team. I'm saying if you can't be the player you usually are with your club, how you are throughout the entire tournament in the biggest games, then what are you, right? So I think that's what we need to really take from this game, take from Aaron Judge's performance, because going 0 for 4 is unacceptable from a captain, from a role model to, I wouldn't even just say Yankees fans, but probably every little kid in America. So it's not likely of Aaron Judge. But yeah, I mean, if you want to be compared to the greats, you got to win in these type of games, and obviously we are not seeing that from Aaron Judge whatsoever. And this speaks beyond just this game. I think this speaks with the Yankees as well. So I'm not gonna start throwing shots right now, but I think it's just, if you can't win the big games, you don't deserve to be the greatest. Have that title.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you, but I think the reactions are semi unwarranted, or it's like, oh, he cannot be captain of the USA now, or he was never fit for this position and things like that, because
and it's like, he obviously can, right? Because we're not saying he can't. He is probably the best player in baseball, besides Shohei and others. So
I mean, he's already one of the greatest right-hand hitters
of all time
in history.
Yeah.
But also the thing you're discounting here is, what did he do in his first at bat of the entire tournament? He hit a home run.
Right.
Like, and you're playing this game against Venezuela. You texted me about this as an away game. You have more Venezuelan fans there than U.S. fans. More passion in the air. And for Judge, I mean, the game before against the Dominican Republic, remember, diving catch against Juan Soto, throwing out Tatis at third. Like, those are still equally as important moments, and he's still showing up in that position. He did something with Juan Soto that he couldn't even do in the World Series. He caught a fly ball hit to him. So, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a problem that needs to be addressed by him being removed from the squad or not being named captain anymore or something like that. It was an off game. There's a lot of pressure there, and maybe that does mean that Aaron Judge is just going to be known in history as someone who doesn't do well in high pressure situations. But that doesn't discount the fact that he already has 380 home runs and has multiple MVPs. He has a home run record. All this stuff that cannot discount that he hasn't shown up in a couple games, and maybe they were on the biggest stages, maybe they weren't. But people really need to let it go and realize what they are getting to watch here. And the other thing is, this game had the most viewers of any WBC game in history, 11 million viewers. That's up 128% from the last finals. And I just think that that's cool that so many people were tuned into this, even if the U.S. didn't come away with this one, because more people getting into baseball is great again.
Yeah, I want to say this. Again, it's a team sport. I think we're forgetting that it's not individual, right? So, of course, you can hate on Judge all you want, but I think it comes to, the last at bat. Roman Anthony had been one of, if not the best player on this USA team. Besides the fact that he's so young, he had been the best hitter, the best home run leader, right? So it's things like that. if you can't prove right to your nation as going throughout the whole tournament, even if you're not the captain, as the best player, Roman Anthony, that last at bat, horrible, right? I expected a home run out of him, right? So that's what to me is concerning. It's not, oh, Judge doesn't deserve the the captain's role. It's more, can the people that are up to the plate at the last second, the last inning, can they show up? And we saw that Schwarber. I mean, horrible. I don't know if I was seeing the same player we saw last time. Definitely not, right? Where he was able to hit home runs in Low Depot Park just a couple of years back in this same tournament. So I think it's things like that. If you can't prove to be the best player in the biggest moments, like that's what we should be talking about, not Judge and if he deserves a certain title or role. It's the players that can show up when it matters.
Yeah.
And I'm talking the bottom of the ninth. That's when it matters. That's when it matters, Andrew. So I think we can blame those three, right? We can blame Kyle Schwarber. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think who was the second at bat in that last inning? I don't remember. I can't.
Was it Pete Crow Armstrong?
I believe so.
Or no, he was bottom of the lineup. He pinch hit.
Yeah.
I will find out who it is, but you can keep going with your.
So those two, and then obviously Roman Anthony. So that to me is where that's when it matters the most, and I think that's what
Gunnar Henderson.
Gunnar Henderson, right? That's where, yeah. So I think
he was another one of the best players of this tournament by
far.
Right.
So and you would have expected a home run from at least those three alone. No. Yeah. So and then another thing I want to talk about, and I saw in the post game press conference, DeRosa saying, "Listen, we need to honor the Padres, and we didn't want to put Miller in. Miller is your best pitcher." Listen, hold on. We were watching this. Me and my friend Chino, who was actually on the podcast in the summer when we did a live stream with him. Shout out to him. Listen, we were watching it. I had him seeing it through my computer. We were on call. He was watching it. We saw Miller throw straight gas against DR. And I'm going to be honest with you, Andrew. I'm really confused as to why he wasn't put in the game. He is, if not one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, it was 100. One of my friends at the game, he told me he was throwing straight heaters.
And you know what's crazy?
I don't understand. Meatballs. I just don't understand how.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? He hasn't given up a hit since September.
Right. So that's where. So forget about, we need to honor the club. I want to curse so bad.
Well, also, the other thing is you hear from Venezuela coaching as well after the game that the morning of the final they got calls from I think they said 5 different MLB clubs and said, "Yo, you can't use these players today. You can't use these pitchers." But Venezuela did use all
right, and that's where the pride comes in the fire. They wanted to win all along. They deserve this. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the media says, what analysts say, what fans say. Venezuela deserved this in the long run. They wanted to win it no matter what anyone said to them. And obviously,
I mean, I just think
this is just it's honored, right? I mean, they deserved it and they got it.
And I'm really upset with Mark DeRosa.
Right. So
much that happened in this
tournament. That's another debate where should he be managing this team?
No, he never should have been manager.
Right. So forget about 2017 and his resume then. Let's talk about now in last tournament, right? So losing back-to-back in the championship is crucial.
Pitching, he didn't know how to handle pitching. He couldn't handle play. He couldn't handle counting. He couldn't handle counting this year.
It's the factors like that where we need to really take into consideration and evaluate, because I just don't understand, Andrew, why this USA team with such a stacked roster couldn't beat a Venezuela team, which, I'll be honest, man, I mean, I didn't really expect them to go that far in this tournament. I mean, after losing to, I believe, DR, or was it Puerto Rico? I forgot who they played in that last group stage match. I believe it was DR, though. So, I mean, just it was that alone where, they were going to face Japan. They were the one-of-one losers coming out of that group stage, even though both teams were advancing.
Right.
They played Japan, which was supposed to be hell for them.
Right.
They were able to beat them, not with ease. Obviously, they ended up coming
yeah.
back 8-6, but it's things like that. So showing that you can beat one of the Goliaths, right? They
Twice.
obviously lost to DR, but
Twice.
they beat Japan, right? Yeah, so they beat Japan, and they go on to play Italy, another team that, I'll be honest, they were proving to the world, right, that they can play teams like the USA, another Goliath.
Because they are the USA, but it's fine.
No, hold on, Andrew. It's New Jersey. It's
Yeah.
Jersey,
Sorry, New Jersey.
full of
Kyle
gabagool,
Teal.
full of Tony
Kyle Teal
Soprano.
from Long Branch.
That's what they were.
Yeah.
They weren't. Yeah, that's not. So, I mean, probably more than 80% of them grew up down the shore. So,
I will say, by the way, the sad part of this whole thing is that the USA loss isn't the most disappointing loss for teams at this tournament. It's Japan. Japan losing that,
all their manager just looks so mad. I mean,
but also knowing how much baseball means to the whole country and then losing in that way is brutal.
Yeah,
way more brutal than the US losing in the finals, I think.
100%. Because listen, we already have something under our belt. We were able to win hockey this year in the Olympics, so it's not like
what do you think about the players wearing the game worn Team USA hockey jerseys?
Listen, if you're gonna do all that and then come out and lose, shows a lot about character, right? So I don't understand how you can do that and then simply just not be as impactful as that hockey team was just a month ago, right? So that's where I think we need to start talking about different things like that. I didn't agree with that at all. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool gesture, of course. I mean, it's nice of them to show patriotism. But if you can't go out there, do all that, and then win, it's disappointing. It's disappointing to not just the fans, but the nation as a whole, and probably the president, because I know he's probably not happy at all.
Yes,
at all.
Probably,
especially losing to Venezuela.
Yeah. So I think that's some good WBC talk. We'll get more into opening day. I know you're going to be on your break coming up, so we'll get to talk a bit more.
Already am, baby. Already am.
Yeah. So let's dive into some March Madness. I think. First of all, I want to talk about the craziest game that might happen all tournament, High Point, Wisconsin. And the first thing you need to understand is that the game winner for this tournament, it was made by a guy who was already going viral before the tournament, because there's a question of, who is going to be that unlikely kind of underrated baller who is going to go off in this tournament, like you see every year, like you had Doug Heater many years ago for St. Peter's. You have DJ Burns a couple years ago, things like that, right?
Right, and people were calling him the second coming of Jack Golke. So
right, and
Johnson.
Right. So that's Chase Johnston, and he has 63 3-pointers on the season, no 2-pointers, no 2-point field goals. And they're battling the whole game. High Point was up for a while. Wisconsin comes back crazy all the way to the end. And the game-winning shot, Chase Johnston, the guy who everyone said was going to be the star of this tournament, who they found his stats, and everyone was like, oh my God, this is so funny. This is a crazy situation. His first 2-pointer of the year is the game-winning layup. That's insane. Incredible. Only see it in March.
Definitely probably one of the best stories you can possibly write, scripts you can possibly write, talk about. Right, so him not being able to make a 2-pointer this entire season, and then him doing it in the first game, that's where the topic of being able to show up, it really needs to be talked about, right? So it's things where Judge couldn't do that. But someone who hasn't been able to, so Judge can do it all tournament, right? He can do it consistently, right? But
and honestly,
the guy who couldn't all season in Johnston was able to do it when it mattered. That's what we love to see in sports. That's why March Madness is the best tournament in sports.
And even crazier, I think Bryce Harper was one of the worst players of the tournament. And he was
right, but no one will talk about it because of that 2-run home run, right? So that's where sports kind of gets a little confusing at some point. Because you can be doing so bad and then prove to your fans out of nowhere and in a moment that counts the most, they'll forget all about it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's already a bracket buster pretty much immediately. That's an 83-82 win for High Point. Another game that was surprising, Louisville USF. USF went down 20 points, I think, in this game. A lot of people had that as another potential upset, and they came all the way back, only losing 83-79. Not sure if you were super tuned into that one, but
I was.
Okay, so do you have any thoughts about how that ended up?
I think that was one of the games where you were down from the get-go, and then you don't come back whatsoever, right? So you lose by 4, but no matter what, it's not a fun aspect, right? So we talk about this USF team being one of the best bracket busters pre-tournament. They didn't do anything interesting whatsoever. I don't even know if they had a lead at all. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I was watching the game, but I don't remember quite because, listen, Louisville was just that dominant the entire time. And, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to take much from this game besides the fact that Louisville, without their star player, they can still win. And they proved it. And hopefully they can prove that against Michigan State in the round of 32.
Yeah. I mean, that game and then the other one that had the whole nation on watch. I think the last one that we'll talk about, or second to last one that we'll talk about that really already happened here, Duke Siena. Siena, spelled with one N, by the way. Shout out to Sam Fetterman, my friend, the biggest MAAC basketball writer on the planet. He loved covering the Siena team, and I loved watching the Siena team. They only had 7 scholarship players carried with them into this game, 2 of which were freshmen with very limited minutes this season, and the other 5 were their starters for this game, and their starters played the entire game and eventually picked up, I believe, a 10-plus point lead on Duke for much of this game before Duke really stormed back, took advantage of the fact that they didn't have any subs, and worked their way back into it to win 71-65. Vince, were you freaking out when you were watching the score of this game kind of tick in Siena's favor for most of it?
Well, I was already kind of annoyed, like I said, on the live stream that we couldn't end up doing because of technical difficulties. Like I said, I had made 75 brackets, and Duke was in every single one heading into either the Final Four as a champion or at least the Elite Eight. So if they weren't going to win this game, it was going to be horrible for my bracket, regardless if I had already lost that first game with Ohio State and TCU. I still wanted that win, and they were able to get it done. They were able to come back, but obviously, like you said, did it shock me? Did it scare me? Yes, it did. I was very, very confused as to why this Duke team couldn't really get their engine and motor going. I was watching the entire game. They honestly did not look like the same team we've been seeing all year. Thankfully, they were able to obviously outnumber their first half points with about 7 more. But yeah, that's this Siena team scoring 43 in the first half. Just beautiful. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing seeing their second half with only 22. So yeah, definitely a huge
oh my god,
breakdown.
I'm just looking at one of my brackets right now.
I need to check. Let's check my bracket.
So one of my brackets, I only have one pick wrong, and that's the High Point one. Right now, every single other game tonight is going in my favor so far. Where I have UNC picked to win, Michigan picked to win, Texas picked to win the upset. They're up 3 right now in the first over BYU. So if that happens, that would be kind of humongous. And then Texas A&M to win over St. Mary's, which is also happening right now. So there's some good stuff potentially going on there. Final game I want to talk about that's already happened with you. TCU, Ohio State, 66-64 is the upset in favor of TCU. Only a 9-8 upset, and this was expected to be a tight game, but still Ohio State had the big edge going into this. But we know how Big 12 basketball operates, and TCU was able to take them down. Vince, any opinions on this one?
Honestly, when I was watching it, I was just a little confused. Definitely not happy though. But yeah, I mean, I'm lost for words because obviously it really did sell my bracket out. But yeah.
Yep. Let's go on to tomorrow. Let's pick out maybe 3 games to highlight, starting with LIU and Arizona.
Hold on, the Arizona Invitational. This is what this tournament is called. I will say it again. I don't care about any of that propaganda. I'm not falling for propaganda anymore. I got screwed over by the Troy pick. I picked Troy to beat what was it? To beat I'm a little lost right now.
Nebraska?
Yeah. And so I'm not falling for propaganda anymore. I'm just so beyond pissed. So yeah. I'm not falling for none of that. All right? None of that. Give me Arizona the whole damn way, Andrew. The whole damn way.
Another fantastic game. I want to talk about Utah State Villanova. I think this is one of the more underrated matchups of kind of the entire tournament, potentially, where you have an 8-seed Villanova, 9-seed Utah State. I mean, just what are you thinking? I'm leaning in favor of Villanova just because of who we've seen them beat this season and how they played towards the end.
But losing like that in the Big East tournament is just unacceptable.
Right, exactly.
So that's where, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, but it's something where, okay, maybe the 8th seed can win here. I just think the 9th seed in this matchup, I think Utah State is just a better team. And I think games like that where you lose to a Georgetown team that just simply isn't good at all in a tournament isn't going to do you any justice. And I think it's going to really lower your momentum heading into, like I said earlier, big games count. This is a big game. I think Villanova is going to really have a huge step back. And I think Utah State's going to easily steamroll through this game into the round of 32.
We'll actually talk about 2 more games. One, Hofstra, Alabama. Hofstra, 13 seed Bama. The 4, they're going to be without Aiden Holloway, their second leading scorer following his arrest. And Hofstra is now looking to potentially earn that upset. Is it possible?
100%. 100%. That is my pick. I don't consider teams that only win one game Cinderellas. But this is a team I would like to see advance throughout the tournament. Listen, if they win tomorrow, then they would end up playing Texas Tech or Akron. Listen, I think Texas Tech is going to win. So if they end up playing Texas Tech, that's also missing out, I believe, that one of JT Toppin, right? So that's another thing where you're missing out on one of your leading scorers, leading players, your best player. So I think it's like this. If Hofstra can win tomorrow, they end up playing Texas Tech. That's huge for them now that they're missing JT Toppin. Hofstra, I'm calling it right now, Sweet 16 bound.
Wow. Big shout there.
And hold on, and that's just one of the things happening in one of my 75 brackets. So that's not my main, but it could happen. It's possible.
And what you talked about though last week was how good the SEC is, how talented they were this whole season. I think Alabama has played against some of the best teams in basketball, and
right. So it prepares them, and they are one of the best scoring teams, best scoring offenses in the nation. But honestly, I don't care, right? So it's things where, again, I'm going to say it again, things that really make you have setbacks, it's going to affect you in some sort of way. I think this team is really going to have a huge setback with Holloway not being, able to play after having that whole legal issue just a couple of days before the tournament starts. Listen, give me Hofstra. I don't care what anyone has to say or what I said last week about the SEC being so dominant. To be honest, I was simply talking about how good this Florida team has been since being 5-4. They were not really that good. Now they're better, and I was really talking about that. I wasn't really talking about Alabama and whatever. They're the high scoring offense. I don't care about that. Give me Hofstra to win this game.
Wow. I don't have Hofstra winning, but
so I mean, obviously, you can think unlike me, and that's fine. I mean, that's what this tournament's all about. People are going to disagree with you no matter what. Listen, so I actually have it's considered my main bracket, but it's not really mine. Like I called it. It has a praying emoji because I hoped and prayed that this would be the perfect bracket. Well, it wasn't at all, and so I actually only have like 3, 4 correct, I believe. And that was supposed to be the best bracket, perfect bracket. No, it wasn't because guess what? Ohio State screwed me over. So did Troy. So another team. So, but I have Hofstra truly just dominating in that bracket. So I'm gonna stick with that pick. I'm gonna
All right.
stick with that pick throughout the
Before
whole way.
we head to the fast fact, last game Miami of Ohio and Tennessee, and we talked about should Miami of Ohio be in this tournament, and I think they proved to us yesterday that they should with that win over SMU, and now they get to play the 6th seed Tennessee, another SEC powerhouse. Vince, who is your pick to win?
Listen, Miami of Ohio. I just found this out. I think this should be the fast fact. They actually were. Well, the city of Miami, Ohio, was actually considered or created before Miami, Florida. So
Yeah.
I don't. But forget about that. I just want to put that out there. I don't care about that. I think Tennessee. I think the Volunteers are going to steamroll this team. I don't care if they're 31-1. All right. I talked about it before. Talked about it last episode. I don't care if you have one of the best records on paper. What matters is game time. I think this Volunteers team has had a tremendously hard schedule. Again, like I said, SEC being one of the most dominant, obviously conferences, not just in college basketball, but collegiate sports as a whole. I think they've gone through a lot all season. They've been able to prove they've been able to beat good teams. I think this is just predictable in some aspect. Give me the Volunteers. I don't care about what anyone has to say about the Red Hawks. Forget about Miami, Ohio, all right? They will be losing. I don't care about the fans going crazy with their shirts off, face painted red, body painted red at the free throw line. I don't care about that. Give me the Volunteers to break through.
So, unfortunately, I've been very much of a pessimist with how I picked my bracket this tournament. Miami of Ohio isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for.
I agree with you. I have Tennessee moving on in that one. With that being said, let us move to the fast fact before we wrap up here. Today, with Nebraska's win over Troy, they became the 245th school to win a Division I men's NCAA tournament game, and they are the final team of any of the power conferences to win an NCAA March Madness tournament game. Their first win ever. Bryce Sanford had 23 points and broke the 0-8 all-time record from Nebraska. Any final words, Vince?
Listen, I don't really want to talk about that game because, again, like I said, Troy, and I don't know why I blanked earlier, but Troy really did ruin my bracket. Well, I should really say Nebraska screwed me over, but listen, I thought that that propaganda of, well, Nebraska wasn't able to win nothing. They have never really won, like you said, 0-8. So I thought that was really going to sell me, and it did, but it didn't work out. And, I mean, huge way to come out there and just absolutely destroy this Trojans team, and just amazing from Nebraska and their basketball squad down with the Cornhuskers.
Well, that's pretty much going to do it for episode 79 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co-host Vince. Episode 80 will be coming very, very soon. I think it's going to be a bit more focused on March Madness and the upcoming MLB baseball season.
The Arizona Invitational.
The Arizona Invitational.
And hold on, before we go Gators, baby. Go Gators.
Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Like and subscribe down below. Check out the Instagram and all that fun stuff, and some YouTube shorts posted over here. Thanks, everyone, so much for listening. And we will see you probably not next week, but much sooner.